Okay. I did a while back a ring pour in the Amsterdam Pearl paints. I am going to do another one of those, but this time I'm going to wreck it and I'm going bigger this time. Ever since I saw Rinske douna do her Dutch blooms with those pearl paints, I fell in love with them. So thank you for the inspiration, Rinske. And I have wanted to play around. I have a ton of techniques I want to try this in. I also just saw Fiona Art. She just did one of her flower dips with it, and the paints are really cool. There is a little bit of a difference between pearl paints and iridescent paints. Iridescent is a medium that you can add to it, or you can buy the paints already with it in there. But for iridescence, you want to think about a bubble and the colors, all the rainbow prism of colors that you see in it. It will add that type of shimmer to your paints. For pearl paints, paint and pigment, paint is pigment with a binder, basically. So pearl paints and pearlescent paints are paints that you basically have these almost mother of pearl type small tiny particles mixed into the binder, and that is what creates that effect. And when light hits it at different points or bounces off of it, then it gives you that shimmer. There's also interference paints. I haven't worked much with those, but those will give you one color if you look at it one way, or one color when you look at it another way. And these can all be mixed together. I was researching pearl paints because I was really interested about how this reaction happens. And I saw a lot about interference paints and the iridescent colors as well. There's actually not as much on pearl paints. But I thought it was really interesting, and I did a little experiment that I'll show you, that I took the pearl paints and just painted them on the white paper, and then I also used a black stripe and painted them on. So let me show you that. Okay, so you can see here, this is pearl blue, violet, green, and red. I'm still waiting on my yellow to come in. I don't have it yet. But that one shows up almost like a gold. But you can see, hopefully you can see how they show on a white base versus a black base. And when I first had talked to Rinske and asked her, about using them, and she said it needs to be on a dark base, and that is absolutely true. So you can see the difference there in the shimmer. And I also was reading about them, and I found out that you can mix those pearl paints in with other paints to create a metallic color. They were saying that metallics basically are like those pearl paints, just they are much more opaque. So again, this is all just me researching it to figure it out. So if you know a lot more about it, please, you can comment in the comment box in the description below. But enough of that, let's get started. So I'm going to layer. So since I'm using a dark base, I'm going to puddle the black on the canvas, and then I'm going to layer the cup in front of you. And then in between each layer, I'm going to put a small layer of black as well. And then I'm going to wreck it. I have my paints over here on this side. I am going to start, I think I want blue to be, so pearl blue. I'm going to start with the pearl blue in the bottom here. And I'm hoping that these are all the same consistency. I don't know. Oh, I've got a lot of bubbles. Okay. You could also just tap or blow to get the bubbles out. So now I did my layer, whoops, of black. That'll be okay. So blue, next I'm going to go with the red. And my paint should be good because they're not sinking on top or down below one another. think I'm gonna do the violet next and the green last. Yeah. So if I were to put them just all right next to each other, I don't think that they would react the same. I still have a lot of playing around to do with these because I just started using them. But I've had some people comment on my ring pour video that, oh, I've used them, they don't react the same, they don't show up. So, and I try to keep these a little bit on the thicker side and not put too much water in them. Okay, so I got my green. I'm going to start back over with my blue. This is a 20 by 20 cup. I'm going to fill it all the way up because when I wreck a painting, I like to draw my lines through it and then stretch it out to be whatever I want it to be. So I do like to use enough paint because it gives you the liberty of being able to stretch it out. If you only have enough paint to stretch to the edges, never works out. It always stretches your design. I'm just messy here. Okay, blue, red. And I think I'll only have enough room for violet. The last time I forgot, I took the lids off and I didn't know which color was which. I had to paint them on the black line to figure it out. Okay. Put these lids back on here, move them out of the way. Time to paint. Put that back in there. Okay, so here's my cup. It's like magic. It just looks white and black at this point. Stretch out a good base on there. Move that on around a bit. And torch it out. Okay, here we go. Oh, I hope these aren't too thin. Woo! I'm gonna wreck it. I have to keep telling myself that, so it's gonna be okay, Molly. Take my time in the center. All right. So I do have some of the actual black ringed around there as well. The colors are already starting to show up. I'm going to start with my small stick to wreck it. And I actually ended up getting some cells pop up right around here. I don't know if I want to wreck that center. I'm going to. I'm going to come through here. I feel like that might be enough, honestly. I'm going to come in with the big stick. I'm just breaking up any like large areas of color. I think I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done. I can already tell that this is, so I don't know if I wanted to leave my center or not because I haven't stretched it out yet. But I feel like this has a little bit more interest to it. So I feel like this one I might stretch it out to be offset, off center. I'm not super sure yet. Just working it around to each edge first. And my paints are a little thin. I can just tell by the way that they're reacting. Not that it's gonna change anything or be bad, it's just a little bit thinner than I normally do for my wrecked pores. Okay, I have to hold it like this time. And I knew that this one would go off center, but I am gonna bring it back. Maybe I'll take a little bit more off this side. I'm just opening up the colors, basically. I actually think I'm gonna take it right up here. I think I'm gonna leave this alone and I'll tell you why, as if I wasn't gonna tell you why. I like this river of blue that's going through there. Now, I'll tell you right now, I see a little bit of purple. I see very little green, but I only put one layer of green in there. The only place that I see green right now is right there and right there, and one little strip through there. And I see almost no red either. So again, this is all gonna depend on how you layer your cup and how you pour the paints out of the cup. So I am pretty happy with this composition as well. I have no idea what this is gonna dry like at this point. So I am just going to, fingers crossed, I'll show you what it looks like wet, and then I'll show you what it looks like dry. Okay, so I turned almost all of my lights off. So there's a little bit of the green. That's purple. That's gonna be blue. There's a little bit more green and red, I think. And this is that bed of like cells and river rocks, I call them, that I didn't want to touch. So I am glad that I wrecked that center. All right, so that's what it looks like. There's a little bit more green right there, but I think that's predominantly gonna be blue because blue was what I had at the bottom of the cup. But let's see how this turns out. Here it is, look at that blue. It's like an electric blue. So first off, boy, oh boy, was I wrong, because I thought all that red was violet. And the violet is just there, up by the green, swirled in between. There's that green river, so I've got tiny little specks of it. The blue was in the center of the cup, so I expected that. But that red really surprised me. Let me see if I can get you in over here. It is so shimmery, so cool. So I have so many ideas. So this was a wrecked ring pour. I want to just do a regular straight pour, kind of like Sarah Mac does. I want to try to maybe add these to some colors and see if I can make some really cool metallics. But super happy about this. It looks very 3D. The light is shining. Let me see if I can get my head there so you can see it. There's that center. So I am glad I went through the center. I feel like it kind of brought the whole piece back together. Feel like the wind is blowing it that way. Well, all right, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I sure did. Thank you for watching. Happy painting. Bye.